Welcome to Blood in the Snow Radio, where we give you the latest news and interviews with the best in Canadian genre cinema. Here are your hosts, Robert Bellamy and Festival Director Kelly Michael Stewart.
It's Radio is now back on the air. I'm co-host Rob Bellamy.
And I'm Kelly Michael Stewart.
And we are here with some filmmakers from He.
Yes, a shape-shifting entity fulfills his patron's dream of love, but one woman's choice to defy the rules leads to chilling consequences.
Nice. That's a good write-up, yes. I'll get you to introduce yourselves and then your role on the project.
Okay. My name is Hira Vin. I wrote and directed He.
And my name is Nic Altobelli. I am the lead actress and one of the producers on He.
Excellent. I always like to start with this. Like, where did the idea, the kernel for this story come from? Because especially in this genre, they're always so unique. So where did this come from?
I always dread this question because it's so funny. It came to me from a dream a couple years ago. I had a dream because I was really lonely and I was single, and I thought, like, it would be really interesting if we could have a lover that would embody everything that we've ever wanted in a person, but we just can't see them. And with the arising partnerships with AI, and like people are leaning towards like dealing with their loneliness through AI and through like other means, it's kind of becoming a similar reality, but I wanted to do a fantastical twist about it.
No, that makes sense, actually. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, because AI has taken over so much. It's going to do that eventually.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of where I want to target, is the human need for belonging, understanding.
Was there a challenge in writing this that you were drifting towards the AI story instead of this? Because
there was a little challenge in the writing room, because I've had people wonder why not do something that was a little bit more grounded in reality. But somebody, like, I love giving so much room for fantasy, because if you leave yourself unchecked and have an entity that actually has life breathing through it, I feel like people can tell if it's alive. And so I feel like I want something more fantastical. And then I wrote a huge backstory, and we can get into that.
That's dedication to a project.
Yeah.
Yes.
It felt like, there was definitely a larger world going on that we were just getting a taste of, and that. Yeah.
Well, especially because they had the rules.
Right.
You know,
right.
You can't look. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, there's stuff going. As we all know, rules are in place because somebody did something.
Yeah.
So it's like, where's that history? Yes.
Yeah.
So being in this then, how hard was it to act against nothing?
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part was the fact that I was actually blindfolded the whole time. And even in between takes, a lot of the time they wouldn't take the blindfold off because of continuity. So we just wanted to...
That's what they told you?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's what they told me, exactly. They're like, Nick, just stay put. We're not going to touch your blindfold. You just have to sit there.
Yeah.
We're just going for lunch.
It's continuity. It's filmmaking.
What's very impressive, I have to add, is that there was live fire.
Yeah.
So, like, there was candles on the ground.
Candles are real.
Those were real.
Yeah.
And you were legitimately blind walking through it.
Oh, wow.
And she had to do multiple takes of that and had no guide. Like, she knew how to...
I was fully Nancy in that, because
yeah,
as they're walking her down the hall, they're like, follow the path of lilies to the bed. And so I literally had to like feel around for the lilies under my feet.
It was a genuine embodiment.
Yeah.
It was really impressive.
But then you probably also noticed that at one point my character pulls the blindfold down, and then I was also wearing contacts underneath.
You were double blind.
Yeah, so I was like double blind, but like actually in reality as well. So I'm really grateful to my co-star Alex Picton for embodying the human form of the entity. But at the same time, like I often like couldn't see him when we were acting across from each other. Even in the end, when she confronts the entity not in its human form, and meets her fate, there is no one there during that scene either. So, and like the whole time I'm coming down the hallway, and then when I round the corner, there's no one there. It was fully by myself. But I was kind of used to it at that point.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating because I have a hard time envisioning people being able to bounce off of nothing. Mm-hmm. So when you see something like this that's put together so well, I always want to get into the mindset of the person that was doing it. Like, how did you prepare?
Well, we talked about this a little bit, like one-on-one, but then also on the day, was just that a lot of ways that I prepared leading up to the shoot was, Nancy is the kind of person who she feels like the dread and the loneliness really heavy every day. It's not something that like goes away ever. So for me, like, and any human, like we all experience, a wide range of emotions, but often they come and go. Or it comes, but you're focused on something else. You're going to work, or you're doing something, so you get distracted, or people distract themselves with other things to avoid those uncomfortable emotions. But oftentimes, leading up to the shoot, I would just like let those emotions come and like sit with them for a while, and so it was really uncomfortable a lot of times to just be like. Normally, I would try reframing those emotions into something more positive, or like see my therapist or something. But I was often just like sitting with like the heavier, darker emotions for longer leading up. And it's like funny to talk about it now because it's in the past, but at the same time I was prepping to be Nancy and I was also executive producing a feature film, which is also Hira Blood in the Snow, Foreigner. Yeah. So those shot at the same time and like had an overlap of days as well. So I was also not really sleeping a lot. So yeah, it just like, yeah, we talked about it a lot on set too. And after the fact, we look back and laugh because they're like, oh yeah, Nick, like those bags under your eyes and like the desperation was real. And I'm like, I know. So yeah, it was kind of like a crafted reality in a way. And also like there are a lot of parts of me that I feel are similar to Nancy. So I was just like leaning into that a lot leading up and like letting those feelings and like the pieces of me that I feel like are Nancy come to the surface. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, because that had to have been challenging.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah. Because she's a very, like I said, like I think she's the kind of person where like dark emotions and dark things come over her and they don't go away. And I think it's like that's what makes her so obsessive and desperate and yeah. So yeah, it was definitely challenging. Yeah.
Well, when you were doing the writing then, because you wanted to put that spin on it, when did you decide on the direction you chose? I know I don't want to say too much, giving away too much.
No worries.
But when did that decision come about?
I think I've always loved history, ancient arts, dark magic, medieval stuff, and fantasy. It has always been something that I've wanted. So when I had that dream, I always felt that it was not human. That regardless if it was AI or not, I felt like it was going to be something that was inherently a creature. And so I think throughout the writing process, I've always kind of felt that it should be more of a fantastical thing. And so I didn't want to dive too much into sci-fi. I found it actually interesting that people described it more as a sci-fi horror than, but I feel like it's a blend. I feel like it's more of like a fantasy sci-fi type of horror. And so I think I just kind of fought tooth and nail to keep it that way.
No, and that's good. It translates well.
Thank you.
Now, going from script to screen, being the writer and the director, was there anything that you realized you had to lose to make your picture better?
There were a lot of experimental elements that I really want to implement in the visual style that I wasn't able to do in the end product. There was going to be... So I created a small pitch video for myself and just like for visual purposes, just to get an idea of like atmosphere reference. And there's a lot of like symbolic ink dropping and like blood, and like there's a lot of how should I say this, visual metaphors that I wasn't able to actually implement due to time, due to like thinking it might be too highbrow. So I thought that maybe to make something a bit more digestible, that was a huge challenge I wasn't able to implement for sure.
Any thoughts on a director's cut where you can go and make it fully?
I think the path for the film now, I think hopefully for a feature, I would definitely put more of that into it now that I feel like people can actually take it.
Are you up for a feature of, blindfolded?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a little bit. it's not written yet, so it'll be a process of discovery for Hira, but I'm, I'm prepared to dive in for sure. And like, I think I learned a lot in the process of prepping for this role, but I also would imagine that we would have more money for the feature, and I wouldn't have to like overlap productions the way that we did for the short. So I could prepare in a little bit more peace and like have some more support. Would be great. Because it'll be obviously like a longer shoot. But we shot for 6 days this short, so it was actually still like quite an elongated process for a short, just because of location availability and time restraints.
That's pretty long for a short. Usually it's about 3 days. I find most people do short.
A weekend.
Yeah, we did 3 initially, and then one of our locations wasn't available over the weekend that we were shooting, so we just took a bit of extra time in the space that we did have, and then scheduled that for a separate pickup day. And then we also, a lot of the stuff that you see in the film that's like hyper close with the really long lens on like my eye, and like so the eye drop when I'm in the facility, and then when I'm putting the mascara on, and like a lot of the just like very hyper close shots, even the ones of my hand going up the entity's like the front of his body and stuff, like
multiple different scenes of like very extreme
close-ups was all on pickup days. Yeah. And so
in my room.
Yeah, in Hira's room. So it was just like there weren't full days, it wasn't 6 like, okay, we're doing a 12-hour day, 6 times. It was like we did 3 full days and then 3 like partial days of like close-ups, and like one of our locations was unavailable and things like that. So it was like a long time for a short, but it was just like we just had to do it to get all the right elements.
It was complicated. It was almost a logistical nightmare, considering that like the elevator scene. Oh my god, if I'm saying too much. But there's like a scene with a really nice elevator. Was not included at all. We didn't found it.
We didn't know we were gonna have an elevator. Like
and I fought so hard. I said we have to have it because it just makes the film look so much cooler. So look out for that.
Yeah.
I love it though when you get to an environment and it writes itself.
Yeah.
Because that makes it feel more natural.
Right.
And like it is living in that space.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think that's my next thing that I want to do is see locations first and write around it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, ladies, congratulations on the film. It is really good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hopefully people accept it just as much as we did.
Thank you.
It's had good response so far. It's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Join us next time for Blood in the Snow Radio. Bits Radio is a production of 3 Evil Cats Productions in association with the Blood in the Snow Canadian Film Festival. For more information and to listen to other episodes, visit bloodinthesnow.ca and tweet us at BitsFilmFest. Music by Jan Gorman, produced and edited by Kelly Michael Stewart. I am Eduardo Correa Lima. Till next time.